led by Mr. Siegel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now you go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the board meeting of June 8th. Just a reminder that if there's an emergency, exit out the rear of the building, go to your car. We should not leave until so directed by emergency service personnel. Also, this is an unspoken building, so if you must, go someplace else. Which clerk?
Yes, sir. There were no minutes available for this meeting. We'll have them for the next meeting.
Okay.
But I do have the treasurer's report. Total bills for the period are $275,442.39. Five largest bills. Glens Falls National Bank, $29,205.92 for the ambulance LoSAP. Town of Brookhaven, $25,000 for the dredging spoils, which is the last payment. Okay. Kansas State Bank, $6,513.83 for our meter lease program. NICOM, $5,087 for the annual dues. And Pilcher Skidmore, $4,570 for insurance premium, for a total for the top five of $70,376.75. Can I have approval, please?
Motion to accept as presented.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Patchogue Pride.
Patchogue Pride Awards. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Each month, the Village of Patchogue presents residents with the Patchogue Pride Award. And this is a really good thing because this is for people who take pride in their homes and keep them looking nice and do a lot of really good things like landscaping and painting and just overall keeping their property nice. There's a lot of people in the Village of Patchogue who do that, but we like to select a few people every month who do it. And we have two here. And the first one is to Patricia A. Boyson of 38 North Ridge Street. Patricia, are you here? Great. Come on up. I know people who live on your street.
Oh my gosh, take a picture. Oh, wow.
Just show everybody here, this is a beautiful home. You do the landscaping yourself?
I do myself.
Wow. God bless you.
Yeah.
That is really nice. And
Bushes too, actually.
yeah, look at that. Come to my house. Well, we really appreciate what you do, and you know, you're a good example for other people to follow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another one here for Wayne B. Sidey. Wayne here?
Oh,
Wayne is not here. Oh, it's too bad. Well, this is a really cool looking house. Look at that. It's nice. That's on Beach Avenue.
Oh, yeah, that's
In the
nice.
village. And we appreciate the work they've done on their house. Looks like a total renovation. Looks like it's protected from Sandy and everything. So to Wayne, we'll go get this, Patty.
Yeah, so he called, so he was coming also.
Maybe we'll come later. Come later, we'll make the presentation.
Okay, before we get into the formal part of the meeting, the public hearings and so forth, I have a representative of County Executive Malone's office with us this evening, Ryan McGarrett. Right? Ryan, just a couple of minutes to talk about, we've heard about the Suffolk County Marathon that's going to go from Exeter State Park through the village and back, and there are a couple of other activities that are coming up, and if you have a couple of minutes, Ryan, just kind of give us an update on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, Ryan, when did you move to the village?
January 15th became my official date, yes.
You lived on Lee Avenue?
Yes, sir. Fantastic. Yeah, here it's a famous block for the board. So definitely appreciate the opportunity to be here. Definitely appreciate, you know, being a Patchogue resident and everything you guys do. and have done to make this the downtown that it's become, the village that it is, and I'm very proud to be a resident and call this my home. If you didn't make that out, I would have proudly read my address into the record of 12 Lee Avenue. So thank you again for being here. Yeah, County Executive Blown definitely appreciates everything the village has done. I know we've been working closely with you, Mayor. We just had a meeting last week to kind of bring you up to speed, but the Suffolk County Marathon and Half Marathon to support our veterans is going to be held on September 13th, and like you said, it's going to go from Heckscher State Park, basically taking Montauk Highway with a few detours through some parks, St. John's campus. It's going to take Montauk Highway all the way through our downtowns, looping around in downtown Patchogue, where we hope to have a nice community event going on, similar to a Live After 5, in which maybe some school bands will be playing. It'll be just a great community event. All net proceeds will go to our veterans, so we're extremely excited about that. I want to honor, thank, recognize that community. So it's been extremely rewarding. To give you a little update, we are very encouraged by the number of registrations we have. We have 2,000 folks just about registered already. So for a first-year event, that is incredible. We were initially planning for about 2,500 total. We've upped that projection to about 5,000 at this point. Again, the actual event is September 13th, so we've got a few months left to go. In terms of just updating residents, obviously that closing down Montauk Highway is not an easy lift. We appreciate everything the village is doing to work with us and making that happen, taking safety and residents' mobility into account as we're making those plans. I do want to say that those concerns, we're going to be having 2 open town hall type forums by the county executive. Those dates will be scheduled in the very near future. We're looking to hold them from late July into early August, just to make sure residents are as informed as possible about the event. Every resident in the hosting communities will get a letter giving some important details about the event, as well as those 2 town hall meetings that they can attend at their convenience. But other than that, it's going to be an extremely exciting event for a great cause. Taste of Long Island Festival to end the event, in which we're going to be highlighting our local wines. Patchogue's own Blue Point Brewery will be there. Live music. We're working with the Music Hall of Fame to get some real talent there as well, and just really highlight everything that Suffolk County has to offer, and in the process, raise some awareness about the needs our veterans community has, and raise some funds to help meet those needs for a nonprofit organization. And also, it is important to note that no money raised will go out of the area. So it's going to stay with the 90,000 veterans living here in Suffolk County. We have more veterans living in this county than any other county in the state of New York, which we're very proud of. So it's all going to be local, stay local. It's for a great cause, so we thank you. Mayor, as you know, we met today. We're very excited in the sponsorship levels that are coming in. Cablevision is going to be one of our sponsors. They're coming in as a presenting sponsor. They're going to be giving cash and in-kind services. As part of the in-kind service, they're going to help publicize the marathon, and it's going to be shooting a PSA. It will run throughout the month of July on Cablevision, and in order to do that, we're looking to close Montauk Highway to get a panning shot of some of the beautiful storefronts that Patchogue has and really highlight everything that Patchogue has become for the entire Long Island area, both Nassau and Suffolk counties. The whole shoot should last 20 minutes, but we've looked for a 60-minute window just to be safe in case Cablevision needs to do any reshoots. Date of that is the 16th. We're be looking for either 9:30 or 10:30 or 10 to 11, somewhere in that area, to avoid the early morning, but also to avoid the lunch crowd coming in. We obviously want to minimize any adverse impacts as much as possible. The rain date for that shoot would just be the 17th the following, so it's a Tuesday or Wednesday.
David, do you have any concerns with that?
No, I was just talking to Ryan about it, and sounds like an excellent event, and the opportunity to highlight the downtown Patchogue, I'm sure for the, it's worth the hour inconvenience. So I'll certainly spread the word around to the members just so they're aware. Appreciate that we have nothing scheduled ourselves that morning, that would be a problem, so
Great.
it's a great opportunity.
And yeah, and while I'm up here, I definitely just want to thank David Kennedy and Patchogue Chamber of Commerce. They've just been doing a terrific job, and couldn't be more appreciative of all the support they've lent us for this great cause. So thank you, David.
Thank you, Brian.
Do you have a motion for the closing of Made sure it's as requested. Motion second.
Second.
All in favor? So we'll keep in contact with David and myself, and Bill, we'll just kind of figure out, however capable we wants to work it out, we'll get it all straightened out.
Much appreciated. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So you can sit here and watch the rest of this?
I am a concerned resident. am I not?
It's always better when you got somebody like they live in Smithtown and want to get out of here and get home.
Well, you did get me out of a meeting someplace else this evening, so I appreciate being in my own town now.
There you go. There you go. Public hearings.
Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held on Monday, June 8th, at 6 p.m., 14 Baker Street, Patchogue, New York, by the Village Board of Trustees of the Incorporated Village of Patchogue to amend Section 14-2 of Village Code to add a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit on Jennings Avenue between Lakewood Street and Lake Street. Copy of the proposed local laws on file at the Office of the Village Clerk. At said public hearing, any person interested will be given the opportunity to be heard.
The purpose of this is that with the speed bumps on Jennings Avenue, the recommended speed is 25 miles an hour. So we need to accommodate that by making the speed limit that. So that's the long and short of the purposes, is to conform with what the need is. Those speed tables.
Speed tables.
Joe, any other comment?
No, I think that in light of some comments that we've heard from residents in Jennings Avenue, probably up to a year now, without the speed tables, 25 miles an hour is probably a good idea.
What is the current speed limit?
30.
We've got some nice responses from people also.
Yeah.
Some of this, obviously, it's like everything, it's tough to get used to. We have to make some adjustments on it. We're still evaluating where ones are, where some signs are. I spoke to Sister Grace the other day. We need to move the stop sign away from her driveway because she has...
I'm sorry.
Sister Grace in St. Joe, she has a house there that she has kids coming in and out of.
Okay.
But I spoke to Joe about that.
Okay.
Any other comment by the board? Public? Mr. Kemp? Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and trustees. Richard Kemp, Jennings Avenue. Mr. Mayor, I would like to comment about this situation that has been developing since the Tri-Tech project took off. And I want to let you know that I did foil the engineer's reports on Jennings Avenue. And I did not see any analysis of what the conditions would be created by moving the Havens Avenue to a driveway directly across from Jennings Avenue, which obviously was a negotiated
It makes
plan.
sense. If you think about it, it really does make sense to align the roads.
Well, I didn't see any
Okay.
report.
We're talking about the speed tables in 25 miles an hour.
Yes, well, it's all created because of, now we have, instead of having an offset where Havens Avenue used to be, now we have a street that goes right across Lake Street. And all of these bump strips and double solid lines have been created after the Tri-Tech project
Absolutely. It's a work
was
product.
developed.
Yep.
But in those reports, I saw no analysis of what would be created and what would become from moving Havens Avenue to where it presently is at.
Like I said, it makes sense to number one, to align it. And number two, everything when you do things, that they're work in progress. You can't always determine the future by what you see today. You determine it as it comes along. And that's why we did it. We did it now as a safety reason. The 25 miles an hour conforms with what the recommended speed is with the speed tables. So that's why we're at where we're at. So thank you.
Well, as I said, I did not see any report from the engineers,
And meaning what?
meaning that it was not done at the time of the negotiated moving of the street.
Okay. And so we're supposed to do nothing now?
No, it should have been well negotiated, well discussed with engineers before anything was done. I did not see that.
We worked with engineers, we worked with hose markers before we put it in. We talked about distances, we talked about speed, we talked about safety, we talked about those things.
I did not see it in the report.
No, what would not have been in that report? You would not have been in that report.
Traffic engineers,
Mr. Kemp, if they had thought that it was going to be an issue, then they would have put it in the report. But they didn't, but it did become an issue. So now we take care of the issue that we have. We take care of the issue at hand.
all right, well, let me tell you what you presently have. Because I live on that street, I live with these bump strips, and I see exactly what's going on. Number one, you have intoxicated people leaving the Tri-Tech development property heading north, who hit those bump strips full speed. They don't even slow down, even with signs, even with some arrows painted on these bump strips. I see cars hitting them full speed. They don't even slow down. They don't even hit the brakes. So that's what's going on. In addition, I myself, I'm going to start using North Ocean Avenue more and more, because to be going over those bump strips, you have no consideration for volunteer firemen responding to calls at the firehouse. You had very careless planning with fire trucks leaving the firehouse. And by going over those bump strips, it's delaying them from getting to a fire. So, very poor planning, in my opinion.
Well, they're in place, and I'll take those into consideration. Thank you. I appreciate your comments.
I think that where you painted V stripes on the roadway, you might want to paint a few more lines. And you might want to continue the solid yellow lines where you blacktopped over with those paving strips, but...
Do you have that look at?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
But right now, it's...
But right now, this is about the speed limit. We're reducing it.
So this is another encumbrance that...
Okay. But thank you.
But what about a stoplight?
It's $250,000.
So what? Tri-Tech's got it. They can put one up at Oak Street and North Ocean Avenue. They paid for that, didn't they?
They absolutely did. Thank you.
Well,
I'll recommend that to them.
did the engineers make any report on that? Well, I asked you months and months ago if the engineers
Mr.
had
Kemp,
a
excuse
report.
me. You've taken the conversation from the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit to North Ocean Avenue to traffic lights. That's not what this discussion is about. If you want to wait and at the end of the meeting, when the public to be heard, bring that up at that time, I'll be glad to listen to it, but we're not going to go through that now. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Any other comment? Motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So carried. Mr. Siding, are you here?
Oh,
Ah,
great.
there you go.
All right. Patchogue Pride Award. Again, I will repeat myself, so not only do we appreciate what you've done to your home, but everybody in the village of Patchogue does, and it's really nice. Did you lift it? It looks so cool. It's a great looking house. And do you do all the work yourself, or you guys?
Yeah, we do all the flowers.
Yeah, wow, it's beautiful, and everybody should take a look at this house and, you know, see what kind of work these people do here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good job, and thanks for taking pride in Patchogue. Okay.
How long have you been there?
Been 2 years in November.
Mayor, I was born and raised there in East Plaza, and I went to Florida, I retired, and I came home here. I retired from Florida. I just want to come back home, and thank you so much.
I don't believe in it, but Patchogue always in Patchogue. You can't get it out of yourself.
Thank you, sir.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Second hearing this evening. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Patchogue on June 8, 6 p.m., 14 Baker Street, Patchogue, New York, regarding the filing by the building inspector of a report containing the findings and recommendations regarding certain structures situate on premises on 16 South Street, Patchogue, New York, designated by tax map number 204-133002-001, reputedly owned by Mary Jones, in which said report finds that the structure is unsafe and dangerous to the public and recommends its immediate demolition and removal. Any resident of the Village of Patchogue is entitled to be heard at such public hearing at the order of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Patchogue.
Clarification, 16 South Street is the White House is directly across the street, the bus stop. People in and out. It's not a great place, Brian.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the Board of Trustees. Just because this is a public hearing under Chapter 162, we have to, which we're all very familiar with, we have to follow certain formalities with regard to the calling of a public hearing. So, is Mary Jones present? Anyone representing or holding an interest in 16 South Street? Okay. Members of the Board of Trustees, and for the benefit of the record, included in your packet is the notice of the public hearing, the proposed resolution, the notice in order to remove a structure under Section 162-6 dated May 14, 2015, signed by the village clerk, affidavit of service by mail of the notice in order to remove, signed by the village clerk and mailed to the owner, Mary Jones, at her other resident address, affidavit of posting of the notice by Peter Sarich, having the notice posted in accordance with Chapter 162. Also included for the hearing purposes tonight is the Chief Building Inspector's report on the property, as well as 5 pages of photographs illustrating the dilapidated condition of the property. The Chief Building Inspector certified that the premises are so dilapidated, decayed, unsafe, unsanitary, or utterly fails to provide amenities essential to decent living, so that it is unfit for human habitation or is likely to cause sickness or death, so as to work injury to the health, safety, or general welfare of those living therein, as defined within Section 162-3E. For the benefit of the record, the building inspector in his report finds that the building, quote, the building has been abandoned and allowed to fall to disrepair by its owner. The windows were boarded up in 2008 by the village after vagrants and vandals were found inside on repeated occasions. The plumbing, electrical, and heating systems have all been vandalized and rendered inoperable. The property continues to attract vagrants, squatters, and drug abusers. Neighbors routinely find broken liquor bottles and drug paraphernalia throughout the property. The interior walls and fixtures have been vandalized. The exterior siding and windows are dilapidated and deteriorated beyond repair. The building inspector's recommendation was that the structure be declared unsafe and a threat to public health and safety. The pictures speak for themselves. As we are aware, and public safety has been down there, there is a neighboring property that has been parking their cars on the lawn, which is a new violation and is being addressed by public safety, but the structure is in deplorable condition. So at this time, before the board is the resolution to declare the property as unsafe and request that it be removed within 60 days and the cost thereof be assessed against the land on which the building or structure is located. This public hearing is
Comment by the board? Comments by the public? Just so you know, I know that Mrs. Jones has been advised of this and she's coming in for demolition permit.
As I understand, she's made requests from the building department to demolish it, but again, we shouldn't stop the board from requesting it.
But legally she's taking action.
Over.
If not, we'll take action. Because what will happen is if she does not, then we will take action. We will take the building down, and then we will be charged back to our own taxes.
Correct.
Motion?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have an open decision to be made this evening.
First, we have to set public hearing.
Oh, yeah. We have a letter that was submitted by the chamber. David, you want to read it into the record?
I don't have a copy with me. I figured you had it. But I'll just, kind of give a synopsis. So thank you. I'll give it correct. Thank you, sir. Dear Mayor Pontieri and Village Trustees, over the past few months, the Greater Patchogue Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors have been discussing the merits of Village Patchogue Code 435-1, 38, regarding the prohibition of formula food franchises in the D2 business district. After much consideration, the Greater Patchogue Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors is requesting that this code be repealed. It is the opinion of the Chamber that while the intentions of the code are well-meaning, we are of the mind that this code may also send a message that Patchogue is discouraging business. As a chamber, a prime aspect of our mission is to encourage business development in our community, and this code can be interpreted to be counter to that mission. Further, since the new village complex on Main Street was established as a separate and distinct zoning category not covered by this code and represents the largest available combined square footage for commercial development currently, the main intentions of this code are basically null, since the types of establishments this code attempts to prohibit would still be allowable in the core of our business district. It also presents a discrepancy that some property owners in the opposing zoning categories may feel an unfair development advantage between the two. We thank the Village Board for considering our opinion on this matter and appreciate the excellent cooperation we have with our local government. Certainly, we will be available to have representatives from the Chamber to appear at any public hearing this may require.
David, thank you. Thank you. And signed by Jacqueline Hensley, President, and obviously David Kenny, Executive Director. A motion to set a public hearing?
Motion.
June 27th.
To June 22nd. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Request approval for a decision to add Chapter 315 to the Village Code to prohibit single-use carry-out bags at retail and eating establishments. We'd had the public hearing. A couple of, May 11th. And the record was closed as of June 1st. At that hearing, at the end, I had said to us that we held our decision open, just based upon the fact that we needed to take a look at the law. And I'm going to ask, and this piece of legislation, I'm going to ask Village Attorney Egan to go over the legislation itself and kind of refer to the changes that may or may not have been made today.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Recall that we had the hearing, just lay out the procedure of where we've been. On May 11th, we had the hearing. At that day, the board voted to close the public hearing and keep the record open to June 1st for written comment. Just for the purposes of fairness and procedural integrity, any comments after June 1st will not be considered. Any letters received prior to June 1st have been received by the clerk and distributed. You did receive some prior letters before June 1st, correct? Okay, thank you. Proposed changes to the plastic bag law was after the public hearing in receiving and reviewing the public comment that was heard that night, as well as additional discussions had with Trustee Keyes, and Trustee Keyes, I'm sure is going to speak to it with regard to his committee. The proposal was to change the law to continue the prohibition on plastic bags. Well, this is the proposal. The board will vote on whether the proposal is tonight. But the resolution and local law as drafted will continue the prohibition of plastic bags with two significant exceptions, changes that were made to the previous law. One was that the plastic bag, single-use plastic bag prohibition was across the board. In this case, and having heard the testimony, we can kind of refer to it as the live fish exception. When there is a circumstance that was, as a maritime village, we should be sensitive to, when people pick up live bait, perhaps frozen bait, those kind of conditions were in a tough spot when they needed to have an exception. So an exception was proposed that any plastic bags that would transport, produce, prepared food, bulk items from a produce, deli, bulk food, or other meat department within the store to the point of sale is a continued permissible exception for a single-use plastic bag. That whole prescription medication dispensed from a pharmacy continues as an exception. To hold live animals such as fish or insects is a new exception. And to segregate food or merchandise that could damage or contaminate other food or merchandise when placed together in a reusable bag or recycled paper bag. So that is an additional new exception when there is a potential for damage or contamination, say for instance in a frozen section item up against something else. The law will now read that no retail establishment shall provide a single-use or public eating establishment shall provide a single-use carry-out bag to a customer. Period. A retail establishment or public eating establishment may provide customers recycled paper bags, and recycled paper bags are defined in the code as bags that contain no old-growth fiber and a minimum of 40% post-consumer recycled content, is 100% recyclable, and must have, in a highly visible manner on the outside of the bag, the words reusable and recyclable, as well as the name of the manufacturer. You may use paper bags. The previous proposal added a cost that would have required the merchant to charge the customer for the use of that recyclable paper bag. The proposal tonight eliminates that charge to the customer, so that a retail establishment may use or a food establishment may use recyclable paper bags. So that's the law as proposed. Single-use plastic bags remain banned, will propose to be banned, with the exceptions of the contamination and the live animal, live fish exception. And paper bags may be dispensed without charge or penalty. That is much more similar, by the way, for the record, to the Southampton Town regulation, as opposed to other ones that were perhaps more far-reaching.
We're going to go around the board, ask the board to make comment if they wish. Or they can make comment when they vote. Mr. Keyes, they couldn't issue the first guy to go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, fellow board members and ladies and gentlemen. I want to emphasize one thing. It is a ban on single-use bags, not necessarily single-use plastic bags. As Brian mentioned, the permissible bag would be a paper bag clearly marked reusable, recyclable. So there are bags that are not, which would be considered a single-use paper bag, and they would be included in the ban. Most of you probably know, if you guys were here a couple of months ago, how this all started. Back in early January, after talking with several residents and employees about some environmental issues, and one being the nuisance and quality of life issue of the messy plastic bags, which would, stew and foam throughout not only the village, but the thought came to us that the bags from the village, where are they going? We distribute throughout the village probably 200,000 to 300,000 single-use plastic bags in our tiny little village. That's a significant number, so though we're a small village to us, that this, it told us that we can make a difference if we were to impose a ban. We have other projects that we hope to work on. I'm getting ahead of myself, I realize that. So in early January, after talking with residents, we formed a PEP committee to protect the environment in Patchogue. Listed several projects which we'd like to work on. The first we consider the most serious one, which would be the banning of these plastic bags. I'm not going to shout out the members' names again, but there's about 7 or 8 of us on the committee who did research, some studies, saw an extremely influential film which really educated us quite a bit, and we learned several things. And number one, this band isn't necessarily uncommon. I mean, when we learned that there was a band in Bangladesh and China and throughout the whole world, it's, you know, we're not as groundbreaking as, you know, some people thought we're just looking for Patchogue to get in the papers. I don't think we have to get in the papers by banning plastic bags. We're pretty significant right now. You know, I think the board's proud of what we've accomplished now. So we learned that this is not really anything that's uncommon, but could be significant effects on the environment. And so after the doing research and studies and deciding that yes, we should do something, we did formulate a bill. In fact, we formulated probably 6 or 7 because throughout many discussions, Executive Director David Kennedy from the Chamber, extremely helpful and cooperative, and he fed to me Chamber's needs, Chamber's requests. We heard, you know, from many residents as well. Extremely supportive residents, and one thing I learned just from talking to people, and one thing what I wanted to do in the beginning was hopefully change some people's mindsets. I'm hearing people tell me now more and more that when they go to the store, and I'm not saying this what we've done has anything to do with it, but it's been talked around the village quite a bit. People go to the store now, if they're only getting 2 or 3 items and maybe have forgotten their bag, they tell the clerk, keep your bag, pick up the 2 or 3 and walk out. I find myself doing that more and more. I tried doing it with a week full of groceries. That didn't work out too well. But people are starting to, you know, get on board to this kind of thing and getting used to the idea and thinking in their heads that, yeah, this is something good that we work together on. This could be, we can make a difference. And I think that I see it as more and more, it was kind of a metamorphosis for me, I must admit, but I see it more and more as, you know, a goal-oriented community project. If we can get all the merchants on board, as I said, many residents seem to be on board from conversations I've had. There are many letters that we didn't receive in time that cannot be considered for the vote, but I can tell you that in many verbal conversations, this has been something where I've really got nothing but, you know, full support for. And so, obviously, Mr. Mayor, I would advocate this, but unless I've left something out of there.
What is the date?
Yes, thank you. One of the things that we did to soften it, as Attorney Egan mentioned, we eliminated the mandated fee. We made an exception for a store like J&J Bait and Tackle, and we've extended the implementation date to Labor Day 2016. So we're talking about a year and a half. Now, word first went out probably January of 2015, you know, the unofficial word, but we let everybody know that this is what we were looking to do. David, I think, sent letters out to all chamber members. So we're talking 19, 20 months, I guess, of notification that stores have had. And so the proposed implementation date would be Labor Day 2016.
Any comment?
Just very briefly, you know, being in small business, you know, my whole life, a family business, I took the opportunity to, you know, think about it a little bit, you know, how it would impact small business and how it would also impact, you know, people who, you know, not the merchants, but the shopper, you know, how it would impact them, you know, and so I spoke to a lot of customers of mine who come in who really don't need a plastic bag or a paper bag at my shop, but I just asked them, you know, what their input was, and it was quite interesting, the feedback that I got. And to be honest with you, most people are pretty much for doing something, you know, about the environment and these plastic bags, and, you know, how they pollute the environment and the waters and stuff like that. So, you know, then speaking with Mayor Pontieri the other day, you know, you talk about the less fortunate and the people who are walkers and who do shop, and you know, so you feel for them also. So it was a long process, and I had to really think about which way I'm going to vote eventually tonight. But you know, it was interesting to say the least. But you know, the way people feel about it, and the way I was feeling about it. And I don't say anything changed my mind or anything like that, or the people I spoke to, but I think it's a great thing, and I think it's going to be a good thing for Patchogue to give a lead on this. So that's just how I feel about it.
Mr. Ferb.
I have 2 points of view. First of all, I don't believe that plastic bags are the problem. I think people are the problem. I think that I've been recycling for about 50 years. I collect the plastic bags under my sink. No, there's no such thing as a single-use plastic bag in my house. I take the plastic back to the cleaners. The litter that we see is because people abuse the environment. And I know we can stop them by taking the plastic bags away from them, and all of us, okay? But we disadvantage all of us, because plastic bags are a very cheap and convenient device for carrying things home from the store. I too, Joe, turn down the bag if I have just a few items. The second, my second objection is, I believe it's Title 27 of the state of New York. Is a law that was passed in 2009 and implemented in early 2010. Revised over the last couple of years with amendments that went into effect on March 1st this year. It's much more comprehensive than what we're talking about. It deals with plastic bags. It deals with the plastic bags from the cleaners. It deals with the plastic bag from the paper that's thrown on the porch. It allows recyclable plastic bags. Sal came into the meeting tonight with a recyclable plastic bag. We should bring it out. So I think that what's missing is education, better recycling activity, some enforcement, and some creative ideas. So I'll vote.
I would just like to say that plastic bag was blowing down the street when I found it. And it just seemed fitting that it just said 100% recyclable on it. So I just had to bring it in and show the board what, you know.
It was just waiting to be recycled as it flew down.
Yeah,
It's a decomposable plastic.
it was actually blowing down the road in front of my shop, and I went out and picked it up, and I was getting ready to put it in the dumpster when I actually read what it said on it. So it
It's
was
a
just
decomposable plastic.
Biodegradable.
All plastic
It
bags,
was biodegradable.
almost all plastic bags are recyclable. There's a special kind of plastic bag that, there's a couple of kinds, but one of them decomposes to neutral chemicals, not even made of plastic. It's made of flour or something like that.
Yeah. That'd be great. No. That's the emotional comment.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's a difficult question here because we all want to do what's best for the planet. And we also have to look at the people who are in the village and who this affects most. So I will reserve my thoughts until I vote.
Well, I just wanted to say again that change happens slowly, but it has to start somewhere. And we've seen a lot of things the last 20, 30, 40 years that society has changed, you know, what they do, and it starts somewhere. You know, I certainly have concern for people maybe who are walking, as Paul's pointed out to me, but I think that the retailers can do something here. I know that when I buy those bags for about $1 at the grocery store, and some of the grocery stores will give you a nickel. So you use that bag 20 times, you get your $1 back. And they're actually much nicer to carry things in than those little plastic bags. So I think that it's a good thing. I hate seeing the plastic bags in the trees. And when you talk about, what was the number, Joe? 600,000?
About 300,000.
300,000 in our 2.2 square miles. Just look at what those numbers must be, you know, in the surrounding community. So I think it's a good thing. The new version addressed some of my concerns. I wasn't really fond of the 5 cents. I know that that's been enacted in other communities, but I just don't think we're in the business of telling retailers what to sell a bag for. It just rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm glad that that's been removed. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I applaud the discussion. I think that it's done great things for where we're going as a board and as a village. It's been an eye-opener for me, all of the information that was given to us and that Joe presented to us. I personally have a hard time with the ban. To have a ban to me means that we've failed in having discussions, that we've failed in educating the public, that we've failed in allowing people to make their own decisions. I am a hopeless recycler, cloth bag user. I wash them once a week. Every time you open a car door, one flies out. But that was my decision. It's my decision to do that. It's my decision not to put fertilizer on my lawn. It's my decision not to drive a high horsepower car or to invest in coal-fired electric plants. But it's my decision. And I respect that decision. And I respect other residents' decision to do or not to do. So I struggle with that. I also feel that we should not ban something when we don't have a clear alternative. 3 mil plastic bag. You say now we have islands in the oceans the size of Rhode Island with 1 mil plastic bags. To me, that means that the island's going to be 3 times bigger because people aren't going to use plastic bags that they're taking with them, and that's it. The paper bag, I come from the paper industry. It's horrible. Paper making is horrible. Recycling paper is horrible. Energy just uses so much energy. I can't possibly imagine that that's an alternative. So until we come up with a economical, social economical solution, I'm not in favor of this ban. Thank you.
Do you have a motion? Motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion passed. Thank you. Okay. Request approval to consider the revocation of Kevin Oppenhauer's village issued taxi license pursuant to section 255-9 of the village code. We've had a number of complaints about, we give out taxi licenses, and those taxi licenses are purchased and paid for either by the company and or by the person. And part of that license, that taxi license that we give them, there are certain ways they are to comport themselves while doing the job. We have the right, based upon the village code, to revoke that license if complaints come in that we feel raised to the level. Mr. Egan?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, because this is a public hearing,
Want me to read the notice?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Kevin Oppenhauer, pursuant to Village Code 255-9, you are hereby notified that a hearing will take place on Monday, June 8th at Patchogue Village, 19 Baker Street, to consider the revocation of your taxi license number 0523. The reason for this hearing is due to your aggressive and threatening behavior towards several Patchogue public safety officials. As set forth in Village Code 255-9, quote, any license issued pursuant to the provisions of this chapter or any other ordinance or local law may be revoked by the mayor after notice and hearing.
Thank you. Village Clerk Seal. Village Code 255-9, as read by Village Clerk Seal, applies to this. If people ask why we license it, why we license the taxi drivers, this is an exact reason. That's to revoke their driving privileges within the village. Kevin Oppenhauer, is he present? Okay. Just for the purposes of the record, there is a notice as read by Village Clerk Seal. There is a May 17th request to revoke the village taxi cab license submitted by Director of Public Safety Jim Berbert. Letter dated June 1st, 2015, sent by certified mail and first-class mail to Mr. Oppenhauer at his applied address, dated June 1st, from Village Clerk Seal. The formal complaint as submitted by Public Safety on May 16, 2015.
a field report from the Patchogue Village Public Safety dated May 16, 2015, which lays out some pretty atrocious behavior, and the taxi cab driver's license number 0523, which is the subject of tonight's public hearing decision. Any comments by the board? Motion to revoke license. Motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. License is up to vote. Okay. Thank you. Person Booth hires Searles Media Inc. to provide webmaster services for the village's website. We got out to bid for that?
Yes, it was an RFQ.
There's an request for qualifications, and Searles, I think, was the other one.
They were not.
And they've been meeting with staff to update our website. Motion to accept. Motion? Second.
Aye.
Okay.
Can I just mention something on that?
Yeah.
If anybody's got any comments or thoughts about, how our website should be updated, or any kind of ideas that they might have, they would just, send them over to the village and, help them along as we're moving ahead on this thing. So, just want to offer that to anybody out there.
Maybe we have a couple volunteers out there. Row 2.
Well, what are you volunteering for?
Oh, maybe, I don't know what your technical knowledge is, but they have a committee together that's working on that. And maybe we'll hook you up with Mary.
For the website?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're
I'd be interested in that.
We're going to start meeting tomorrow, so we'll,
This is it. This is the first step. First step.
2:30.
Could be citizen.
Oh, we have day jobs.
we all do too.
We'll talk a little bit, take this on. Okay, Trustee Krieger. Deputy Mayor. Oh, bid, Dennis.
This is here.
Smith.
Mr. Mayor, Trustees, Attorney Egan, Mr. Steele, Dennis Smith with the VIP report. It's pretty brief. We have installed the third security surveillance camera at the Four Corners last week. So we're 3/4 of the way there. The camera mount for the Church Street lot installation is coming in this week, so hopefully we'll have that installed this week. And then we'll incorporate all 4 cameras into the computer that's downstairs and get them up and running for the persons that are going to be authorized to view them. I believe the code enforcement can view the ones that are up so far, but there are more people that have to be added to that list. Then the last thing we have to do is just work on the recess camera, which hopefully we'll start that going this week as well. Summer program is in full swing. Hanging baskets are up. We're still moving a few of them around to get to even it out across the village. The garden areas are looking good. They've been worked on for the past 6 weeks, almost 2 months. And of course, the True Green annual maintenance that I had talked about at the last meeting was accomplished on May 16th. And again, that's been very successful over the last 6 years in keeping the weeds down, keeping the weeds away in the downtown business district. The Sunday Farmers Market is going to start this Sunday, June 14th, 8 to 1, on West Main Street. To start, there are 9 vendors. There's 2 farm vendors. There's 7 other vendors that include coffee roasters, Simply Cookies, Long Island Pickles, Amy's Jams and Jellies. It's going to start small, but as we go along, more, and the farmers obviously grow and harvest more product, that will grow. And in addition to that, as it becomes more widely known and utilized as we progress forward, I'm sure it's going to take off, and we're going to have a lot more vendors and a lot of activity out there on West Main Street.
What time does it start in the morning?
It starts at 8 o'clock and it runs through 1. It's from West Main Street, Ocean Avenue, down to the Bank of America driveway. And this is the first Sunday. I will be there. The Parks Project Initiative. The Scantrons went out the week of May 18th. I did call today, and the numbers were a little bit disappointing. I expected a big rush at the beginning. We've got 133 that were returned thus far. 31 were taken online, and there were only 19 of those that were fully completed, but we could still harvest the information from all of them. We did the signs were put up last week at the various park locations, alerting people that they should take advantage of the questionnaire, and that it could also be filled out online in both English and Spanish. In addition to that, I had...
When is the last date on that?
It runs through, it runs through the 12th, which is actually this weekend. So if anybody gets one in there by Monday, the tabulation is going to start on Monday the 14th.
Lizzie,
So basically, we've got 1 week.
Ms. Luzzi, can you do something for us?
We thank you, Linda. Yeah, it's something for a little more than what we've got.
Yeah.
But we've got the signs out there. We had this handout made to alert people that you could take the survey online if you did not in fact get a Department of Recreation guide, or for some reason you lost the survey. So again, it's in the library, it's in Rose. I know Maria was going to Tritech, and she was going to hit a few other high concentration apartments and villages around the village. We're trying to get it out there as much as we can, because the input is important, and we really want to hear from the constituency. Just to get to the nuts and bolts of it, though, we're still looking for physical site surveys. We should have had them. We don't have them yet. I met with the surveyor last week, and I promised I will have the physical site surveys by Wednesday, and we're going to hold to that. Once we get that, we can turn that over to Cornell, and they can start the process on the master plan. So I'm looking forward to that. The other 3 parks we have given to a different surveyor, George Brush. So hopefully it's not going to take a lot of time to get Belzak, Tatura, and the Four Sisters Park done as well. And again, once we get all that, we can really start to put the plan together. The last 2 things I have is the bid annual meeting is going to be held on the 23rd of June in this room at 4 p.m. And we had a little glitch with the flag banners, and I'm working to get that corrected with that company now.
Did you speak to them today?
Excuse me?
Did you speak to them today?
I did, yeah. He's going to call me back tomorrow. I'm going to see what we can do.
Just weird.
It's just, you're looking at this thing on a computer, and how does it fold, how does it unfold? And obviously it's wrong. And it can't even be rectified, because regardless of how you put it, you're going to have the stars on the wrong side, which obviously we can't have. Unless there's any questions for me. I thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis.
Kennedy?
Good evening, everyone. And first, let me just start by congratulations, Joe. It's been a pleasure to work with you on this, and I just want to reiterate that certainly, from my perspective, being on there, that the business's opinions and concerns were definitely taken into effect when this law was being crafted. And I just want to say that, obviously now that the law is passed, the real work's really going to begin. I think there's going to be a major need to educate the business community, though certainly a lot of time and effort has been made on it, a lot has been talked about it. I still think there's going to be a lot of confusion, so I do look forward to working with the village and having some public hearings with them, just to answer any of their questions and use now and the period that's going to be enforced as the time to do that. And then just to follow up on Trustee Hilton's concern, I agree with you 100%. We do need now to provide that alternative to the business owners. I know we've had some very serious discussions about the village and chamber working together and providing that alternative. So hopefully those discussions continue, and I'm certainly on behalf of the chamber going to be working with you and look forward to it.
Thank you.
Next, I also wanted to throw out a nice thank you to New Village. They had a wonderful Taste of Patchogue event last week or the week before. Dave's starting to get together too fast for me. I really commend them for allowing the money that was raised for that to be used for the Chamber's Restaurant Committee for this community improvement fund that they're creating. I've been told that it's been over 4,000 was generated from this, so it's a great start for this community improvement fund. And again, it's really gracious of New Village to use that event to do that for us. And then I just want to reiterate, let everybody know that Alive After 5 is coming together great. Probably between now and Labor Day, you'll be hearing me say Alive After 5 a lot in my reports, just updating where we are and how everything is going. But one thing we're really excited about is we do have the return of the Blue Point Brewery. We'll be having a nice presence again at Alive After 5. It's something we missed the last couple of years as they were going through their own corporate restructuring, but they've made a commitment to come back, and we're very excited about that. Some upcoming chamber events that I want everybody to be aware of, particularly members of the village board, who are always welcome to join us at these. This Wednesday, June the 11th, is our June 10th is the Wednesday, is our annual joint networking event that we always do with Bellport. It's an annual networking breakfast at the Bellport Country Club. It's from 8 to 10. It's one of our favorite events of the year to join with our neighbors in Bellport, and again, please join us if you can. This Friday, one of our newest members is a place called Allison's Gathering Place. They're located at 100 Austin Place, which is that little complex just by the Head Start. Actually get it off of the end of Jane Avenue, I believe. And Allison's Gathering Place is a wonderful place I was introduced to recently. That it's a social gathering group for children and adults with developmental disabilities. So it's, I think when they do a great mission, they do a lot of fun activities to keep these individuals nice and active and part of the community. So they're going to be holding an open house this Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. And I encourage everybody in the community to come on down. This is something I wasn't aware that was going on in our community, and it's a wonderful activity and a wonderful organization that we should all support. So again, it's this Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. is their open house to learn more about what they're all about. And following that, June 17th is the next networking event that we're going to be joining with the fellow chamber. This one we're joining with our compadres in Medford for an event at the Patchogue Medford High School. And this is in support of the Patchogue Medford High School robotics program. From 5 to 7 on June 17th, there's going to be a nice demonstration of what the robotics program does and all the activities that they do. And we're blessed. Patchogue Medford is probably the most decorated robotics program in all of Long Island. So they're looking to get as much support from the community as possible. So if you have ever wanted to get an opportunity to see what it's all about, join us June 17th, 5 to 7 p.m. at the high school. And just talk about a couple things business promotions-wise. Our Business Promotions Committee is excited to be running our Father's Day our promotion again. We'll be raffling off 4 tickets to the Long Island Ducks. So many of our participating businesses starting probably this weekend. Laura, you think we'll have those things out there by then? Yes, okay. All right. Well, you can visit a lot of our local merchants and fill out the raffles, and hopefully you'll be the winner of a family pack of duck tickets. And another thing the Business Promotion Committee is working on is, obviously Friday nights become very active on our main street, mainly for the bar-restaurant scene, but certainly our retail merchants would like to share in a lot of the activities. So right now, a lot of our, the Business Promotion Committee is organizing many of our businesses that don't already to extend their hours on Friday night and to create something that we're going to call a retail happy hour. We're going to be approaching the restaurants, maybe coming some kind of joint promotion where purchases with receipts can be brought to some restaurants with some nice discounts and use the activity on what's already happening on Main Street to also encourage some more shopping on Main Street as well.
There's a lot of people walking around.
Yeah, certainly. So I know already a number of stores that hadn't opened up on Friday are committed to do that. We're going to certainly do a nice promotional push on that as well as we move along on that, and hopefully that'll become a regular Friday night activity for us in Patchogue. Unless anybody else has any questions, that's my report. I do apologize that right after this I do have to run to my next meeting, so if I didn't answer anything now, you can get me at the office.
We'll get you.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Bye, Dave.
Take care.
David, I'm sorry, I hope you said something.
You have to run. Let's go to his next meeting.
Yeah, that is next.
It might be just as usual.
I think more sometimes. Deputy Mayor Krieger.
I have nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Looks good, yes.
Roll one.
Just before we get, the other night, we went to Dono Yacht Club, and Village Attorney Egan was there also, and they honored Ken Abrams. Ken Abrams, 95 years old. Prisoner of war in World War II.
Yes.
Came back. Patchogue medical graduate, lived in the village his whole life. His wife, I guess, is a year younger than he is.
Married a girl from the village?
From the village, yeah. In fact, he graduated from my mother, I think.
Yeah.
But 1948, came back from World War II and immediately ran for village trustee, and down on Yacht Club for 50, 60 odd years. It was, every once in a while you get the opportunity to meet one of these people. And he lived on Ketchum Avenue for 65 odd years also. Just really done, it was a really, really neat evening.
He was a bomber pilot and kid from Mulford Street, marries a girl from Amity Street, high school sweethearts. Goes off to the war in World War II, and then gets shot down over Europe. I can't even imagine flying one of those planes, let alone getting shot down.
Yep.
And then he remained as a POW and reported in the Long Island Advance as a potential KIA, but certainly MIA. And I can imagine what his family felt. And then he was found by the Red Cross in the Romanian prisoner of war camp. And he was liberated, or let go actually by the Romanians, and then came back and formed a member of the Greatest Generation and joined the village board of trustees and served his time. Made his village better.
Yeah.
What was the furniture store that he had?
He was in construction. And the mayor presented a very nice proclamation to him, made it very personal on Saturday, so the family was very touched.
It was pretty neat because if you saw him, 95 years old, sharp as a tack.
And humble.
Very service. At the very end, he said, "Do you mind if I get up and say something?" It was pretty neat. It was pretty neat. Trustee Keyes,
Yeah, that is a good
again.
story. Yeah, again. Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, your gift wrapping of the village should begin on June 22nd, Kings Park Industrials with the crosswalks. Going to start down at the south end of town. We pushed it back to the 22nd because we wanted a representative from Menace Flint, the manufacturer of the crosswalk, to be there for the installation, make sure that everything goes smoothly.
The crosswalks that you see at the four corners, we're going to be putting at intersections where we have worn out crosswalks. And for a couple of reasons. First, the fact that I think that it really presents the village very well. They're durable. I think that they're more visible as a crosswalk for people to understand where to go. And I know that we're getting close to,
Sort of.
we have the crosswalk that will be put in front of the theater will be a decorative one. What is it? Piano keys and knives and
It's
forks?
paintbrushes, piano keys, the tragedy and comedy face, a film camera silhouette, and we were going to talk to him about adding some restaurant reference. Right now he has a reference to dancers, so we'll have to talk about when we want to, if you want me to announce who the, I didn't want to steal your crosswalk discussion.
That crosswalk's all yours.
But we had, I think we had about 8 submissions, 8 or 9 submissions, and the Patchogue Arts Council narrowed it down to what were the top 3 that met the criteria. And the board reviewed them and chose Dave Rogers as the artist, and he lives in Art Space.
So just something a little bit decorative and something that kind of sets us apart a little bit. And, but that's starting on the 22nd.
Yes, that's starting on the 22nd. We'll start the south end of the village so that they, get it down. By the time we get into the real thick of things, they will have a process down that,
Will Ocean Avenue be paved by that point in time? Because
we're approving tonight all to the docks. I can find that out tomorrow.
Well, I think there has to be by the time.
Yeah, well, we have 2 weeks. So if we can get those more in between now and then, definitely we should do that.
Because South Ocean Avenue from Main Street to the bay is going to be repaved, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. Terry Street will get done about that same time. So,
yeah, I'm going to talk to Joe Mark, get more specific dates. We were holding off a little bit, as you know, so I'll get those. But anyway, once they get rolling, they should do 3 to 4 days. So I think by the 4th of July parade, we should get that opening day. So it should be looking pretty good.
Also, just the theater walkway, are they gonna do the lighting with that?
That's going to come after the,
Okay.
that's another step altogether, the way I understand it.
There'll be a little crosswalk. I think they've been picked up 3 or 4 years ago, didn't it?
4 years ago, yes.
And when you walk onto the crosswalk, you hit a button and lights flashed in the pavement.
But the ones by Brookhaven Hospital, Smitty, they work the same way,
Yeah,
right?
basically the same thing, Joe. You're gonna have the chaser lights that go across those you activate them, so it'll just make it that much more visible, particularly with the nice design that's gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
itself.
Also, Oak Street, I've been talking about that for about 6 years. We're going to submit still another final set of plans to the DOT. Very difficult to work with them, but I've been saying it for a couple of years now. We're getting closer. We are getting closer. I'm not as optimistic as I was that we would get it done this year, however, but it will, depending on what kind of season we have.
Joe, in relationship to that, I'd like to ask the board for approval to extend Bound's contract for an additional $15,000. They've been working on this thing going on 10 years now.
Yeah.
And now they're working for nothing.
Yeah.
But that's...
Motion to extend the contract with City Bound Engineering, not to exceed $15,000.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Tomorrow, I mentioned, I spoke to Charlie Walter the other day about it. You give him a call back?
Sure.
Just let him know they go through.
Okay.
And I need some paperwork on it.
And also, I mentioned briefly a couple of weeks ago that the bamboo is removed on Thorburn Street. The contractor is going to come back either tomorrow or Wednesday morning. Shoots, you don't get it all the first shot, so they'll be back there tomorrow. I'm requesting approval tonight to partner with the town of Brookhaven for a paving project on Monroe Avenue, and of course not to exceed $55,000. Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Monroe is a split street. so
Yeah, like Bay Avenue.
Like Bay
And
Avenue.
that worked out really well. Requesting approval to award the bid for the replacement of the fuel dispensers and fuel management system to Island Pump and Tank Corporation in the amount of $32,460. Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Requesting approval for Rosemar contractor to pave Laurel Street, to pave South Ocean Avenue from Laurel Street to the docks at a cost not to exceed $135,000. That's the motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'm sorry?
Is that coming out? What's that coming out?
That's coming out of the bond.
And lastly, I'm requesting approval to hire Eric Murphy. It's a seasonal wage, I believe at $10.75 an hour. Seasonal work at $10.75 an hour. That's the motion.
Second.
Favor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
One other piece, Joe, is, and it was discussed with Ann and Joe, we've had a number of guys go down in the last couple of weeks, so they'll hire another temporary sanitation worker.
Yeah, that's what this came out of. Yeah, I remember the other two as well. That's what this came out of.
So this is another one.
Yeah, good.
Motion to adjourn. Motion. Second?
Second.
I think we did.
No, this is temporary sanitation worker.
Oh, this is a sanitation, okay.
Yeah, this is an addition. All in favor? Okay. I'm sorry, Joe.
Thank you.
Trustee Felice?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to request approval for 2 additional non-union employees, Nicholas Zambelli and Al Costello, to receive the 2.5% increase effective June 1st as set forth in the union contract. Nicholas's fee would be from $24.97 to $26.47 per hour, and Al would be $23.31, and he would bump up to $24.71 an hour. So that's a motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Next, I'd like to request approval to accept the resignation of Public Safety Officer Ed Britch. He's resigning due to personal reasons, so I'd like to make a motion to accept his resignation.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Request approval to hire 4 seasonal public safety officers at a salary of $16.40 an hour. The personnel requested are as follows: Matthew Cordero, Joseph Guzman, Christopher Green, and Thomas Rubenstein.
Actually, that's revised, Jack, excuse me, Savage. Mr. Goode.
Oh, I see, I got the revision here. That would be Matthew Cordero, Travis Fox, Christopher Green, and Thomas Rubenstein. Based on Ed Rich resigning, we'll need an extra man, and plus with the summer coming up with a live after 5 and all, we'll need some extra guys. So those 3 extra guys will help out.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So carried.
Next, I'd like to request approval to set a public hearing to declare 37 Maple Avenue, 70 River Avenue, and 180 River Avenue as dangerous and unsafe buildings in accordance with Section 162-3(1) of the Village Code.
Motion.
So that's a motion to...
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
July 13th.
Yes.
July 13th.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
I have nothing tonight.
Trustee Devlin.
Good evening, everybody. Just a couple of quick things. We already covered the crosswalk contest, so I think we crossed that off my list. Just wanted to say that the road walkway mural that was funded in part by a grant from the county through the CDA is pretty much complete, and I think we're meeting you there, Linda, tomorrow night for a photo op.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Nicole said a couple of...
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
Good. So all the artists will be there tomorrow at 7:30 in case anybody wants to stop by. But that's pretty much complete, so we're excited about that. And then the Patchogue Arts Council is working with the restaurant committee to do a fundraiser that's going to be a joint fundraiser between their community development fund and the Patchogue Arts Council. This is going to be called an Evening of Food and Wine. It's going to be on August 12th at 89 North from 6 to 10 p.m. and tickets will be $50. So we'll have all manner of wines to be tasted. A good portion of the restaurants, similar to what they did at New Village, will be participating
What was the date on that?
and serving food. August 12th, it's a Wednesday night. Yeah, we picked Wednesday because that's the night that 89 North doesn't have any acts going on, so we can get it reasonably priced. So it should be a lot of fun. We're just working out the plans, but mark your calendars. Be there.
You're gonna have art, you're gonna have...
I got to put a committee together for that. We might have some art out, but I think what I'm trying to do is attract people, not because they're friends of the Patchogue Arts Council, but because they want to come to Patchogue and taste food and wine.
Yeah.
So I want that to be the main draw. So we'll have music, maybe we'll have a little dancing, and we do something with some art. Because I'm considering advertising it on WEHM, so hopefully we would draw people from out of Patchogue. And I think if I just say Patchogue Arts Council, maybe I wouldn't attract the people that really want to eat, drink,
And where do you purchase those things?
I'm working on that.
Okay.
I got it. Jamie from the restaurant committee is in Spain. As soon as he gets back, we're going to meet, and then we'll work out all those details. But I would think that the best thing would be to have the tickets available at all the restaurants or at the Patchogue Arts Council Gallery. So, and at 89 North. So that's probably how we'll work it out. That's all I have for this evening.
Trustee Hilton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, trustees. This is the season at the recreation. Sign-ups are going well at 380 Bay. There's a lot of interest in some of our new programs. All the summer staff have been hired, some great kids, adults. And we're going to be meeting with Senator Croce's office tomorrow to discuss a Child Safety Day at the park for children and families. And they'll be doing family IDs, child safety seat checks, and family fun. And I'll have more information as I get it. Dennis spoke on about the Scantron, so we're doing well. Businesses, I'd like to request approval for the Patchogue Medford Library to use the road walkway for the annual Hispanic Heritage Month Fiesta on Sunday, October 18th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Request approval to change the rate of pay for Jared Stahl from $9 an hour to $10 an hour. He got his WSI. certification. It's a great lifeguard.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye. Request approval to hire Christian O'Connell as a seasonal park attendant at $8.75 an hour. This is a new position that we are starting because of the popularity of Shorefront Park and the playground equipment. We feel that we should have an attendant there during the day to help people with any problems they come up with and to eventually maintain the bathroom that is at the playground. We're having a lot of problems with vandalism and littering. So that is a motion.
Second.
Favor?
And I'd like to request approval to install a removable speed bump at Mascot Dock. These are, imagine like if you opened up a truck tire and laid it flat, and they lag bolt into the, and you can pick them up and drop them nice and easy.
That's something we need to come here for.
Well,
That's it. Motion?
Motion.
All in favor?
That's all I have for Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments by the board? Council? Public to be heard? Don?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, trustees, congratulations, Joe. Tough fall. I just, quite a while ago, I made a suggestion that when you talk about village code and such, in the interest of the public, maybe explain a little bit better, like, what's a formula food franchise? I was wondering what that was all about. So we have a better understanding about what you're changing.
Okay. One of the things that formula food franchises are, whether it be McDonald's or Starbucks, and what we had done a number of years ago, because there were some inquiries about those kinds of places. I think they call those kinds of places coming out to Main Street that just weren't appropriate to be on Main Street. So as things have changed and the economy has changed and the economy of Main Street has changed, we've gotten requests recently, again, it seems that it's time to make a change. And we went to the, I had gotten the request that has had a couple of board members, so we went to the chamber and asked them to discuss it with the executive board. Because really, they are the business organization for the village, who's downtown, is to take a look at those things, whether it be a Starbucks or whether it be any other kind of, what is it, the ice cream place, not the ice cream place. Kilman's, which makes
Fudge and ice cream.
Yeah, they've requested. So we're getting a higher quality than what was originally coming in back. So the formula food is somebody that follows a process.
Okay. I have no idea what you were talking about. Just in general, it would be nice, as I say, to expand a little bit on the rules, the laws, the changes.
Sometimes we forget. It's almost like it's
Try to do that. Try to do it a little bit. But you're right. It's just so, it's such a shorthand that we've said franchise so many times. I feel like we've been talking about it for the last so long. You're right. There's oversight by not mentioning it, but it's a good point.
Okay. Thank you.
Like lawyers.
Yes. Ms. Esposito?
Good evening, board members. And I didn't know what formula food was either, so I thought there was baby food or something. But, so thank you for explaining that. But anyway, thank you so much for your vote on yes, banning plastic bags. And I do want to say for you, I know you just voted, but I think submitting these letters from village residents, we have about 92 total from village residents and another 20 to 22 from just on the border of the village, of all people who support this ban. And I think it would be good for you to perhaps peruse the letters so you can see there's widespread and very strong support. And what we liked about many of the things that the public wrote is they wrote about their personal experiences about why they support this. Whether it was bags that got stuck in trees in front of their kitchen window, or the reason that they love Patchogue so much is because of Shorefront Park and because of the bays and the beaches, and they have found bags on the beaches. They found them in their backyards. They see them on the street. So people really personalized it throughout these letters, and they're very complimentary. I mean, they love the village, and many of them say, I moved to Patchogue because it's a beautiful village, and because it's considered progressive, and it's considered on the forefront of change. And I believe that this ban allows you to continue that reputation. And that's their words. I was going to read you some letters, but I won't because it's getting late now. But people really took the time to give you some heartfelt commentary. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of letters with 3 sentences, which is support the ban because it's a good, it's a good move. But there are many substantive letters that go through an explanation about why they feel this is the right move. And the second thing, so I'm going to submit these to you, when you have time to read them. And then also, I'd like to say, we also do want to make it as easy and streamlined transition for our businesses and for community members. And we'd be happy to, if you want to form a working group or whatever you think is the right avenue, to work with the Chamber of Commerce, work with the businesses. There are many alternatives that have worked in many other countries and many other cities and many other villages throughout the nation and the globe. And we can draw on their experiences and bring them here. And then as questions come up, they can have a working group to bring those questions and concerns to that can work to address them in a cohesive, collaborative manner. And I'd be happy to do everything I can to do that with you and to do that as a part.
I have your phone number.
Yeah, I know. It's on speed dial. So thank you so much again. We look forward to the successful implementation and working together as one team to get this done. So thank you so much for your leadership.
Thank you.
And I'm going to leave these here with Joe. He has my phone.
I'll be up all night.
Yes, please do. I'd like a full report in the morning.
Annotated, please, cross the next by street.
Good evening. My name is Chris Schefer. I live at 75 Mailer Lane. I've never been to a forum like this before. I've been living in the village for 10 years.
Excuse me, Chris, I'm sorry. Can you just spell your last name?
SCHIEFER.
Have you lived there for the...
No, 5 years. I lived on Oak Street with my brother for a couple of years. But my biggest concern right now is the Emporium. I'm sure you've heard it before. I just want to know what, if anything, is being done about the place. They now have this Epic Thursdays on Thursday nights. I don't sleep at night. I woke up 2 Fridays ago. I actually took a bunch of pictures of the beer bottles on our lawns. In the parking lot, the workforce building. There's broken beer bottles, red plastic cups. I'm walking my dog in the morning and there's broken glass everywhere. It's sad. And the fact of the matter is, it's such a great village, and what's being done is absolutely fantastic. And this is putting a real damper on things.
Yes.
I went to school in the Hamptons. I lived in the Hamptons. I lived out there for 5 years. I experienced this. I don't think this is the place for it. I really don't. The restaurants and bars and nightlifes, listen, Friday and Saturday nights, that's okay. Not that it's okay, but it's more acceptable than it is on a Thursday night when people have to get up and go to work. And I don't even live on the outside of the complex. I live on the inside. And I'm hearing cars racing up and down Girard and up and down, I don't know, the other street on the other side. Fights going on, the cops, people are parking in my complex, there's cops going through there. I've talking to my neighbors, and they're very concerned as well.
Well, just so you know, we met with the inspector, Mohica, and Greg Heller, who's code, and the owner of the Emporium, and registered those complaints very directly with them. Suffolk County PD, which has, unfortunately, the most control, the issue that we have in terms of our control over that is limited, very, very limited. But I think working with Suffolk PD, they've assured us, and we will keep, I will make sure that Officer Heller, Sergeant Heller, I'll take your complaint, and I will also talk to one of the reasons you heard, we're adding more public safety on.
Right, yeah.
So which is a shame that we have to pay for that the taxpayer has to pay for that. But it is the circumstances.
I see the Village Patchogue workers cleaning all this stuff up in the morning. It's not the right place.
No,
it
it's
really
not.
isn't.
But it's, like I said, it's a very difficult thing for us to control. on the sense of him allowing to have the business or not have the business. It's how we put the pressure on them through Suffolk PD and on public safety. We'll do whatever we can do.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
I just wanted to, because I was in on that meeting, what I would suggest is that if you see something that's out of normal, that looks like it's against the law, call the police. Please do. Don't wait till the next week and come here and say, this is going on. If you see public urination, public drinking, people coming in there and parking their cars illegally in your space, call the police, call the Patchogue Village Code. You have their number?
No, I don't.
There you go. It's 475-1225. And anything you see that's obvious violation of village code, please call. That's the only way we can handle it if you do get the calls.
Okay.
If we do get the calls.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Kemp?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and trustees. Mr. Mayor, several months ago, I asked this board about the feral cat situation. And I was assured by our attorney that he would look into the matter. I have not heard a word. Is there any development on this situation?
Not much you can do about it.
Your proposal was to ban the feeding of feral cats on other people's private property, correct? Was that the proposal?
No, not at all.
Could you repeat it?
All right, that was one aspect.
Okay, that's what I thought. That was the main aspect.
No, that was not the main aspect. The main aspect was the law that was established in Nassau County in a incorporated village or a town in Nassau County. And I gave you the name of that. And they made it a law that all feral cats that came into their shelters would be spayed or neutered.
The reason why I did not consider that your major point to the village is because you know that we don't operate a shelter. We don't have one. The animal control officer is in town of Brookhaven, as I explained to you then. So the only potential aspect that I interpreted as your major point the village could do anything about was the prohibition of feeding feral cats on private property. We looked into that, and the basis of our legal research says the agricultural and markets law says that you cannot prohibit that. Because you get towards the point, the courts have said, you get to the point of cruelty to animals if you are starving animals on your property.
Oh, but the village can have that law.
That's different, because you're feeding, the village law as was passed was feeding on public property, is the prohibition.
Can I just chime in here, Brian?
What I don't
One
understand is...
second. Town of Brookhaven does not accept feral cats in their shelter. So, that's just a matter of fact.
Well, it was discussed in April at Brookhaven Town. And I don't know how they have acted on it
They
or
do
what
not
they've done.
accept feral
I don't
cats.
know what the status of that matter was, but it was discussed. The council person from Brookhaven Town,
Who was it?
Councilwoman Cartwright, spoke at a meeting. And I don't know what the outcome of it was, but I do know that the town in Nassau County did make it a law to spay and neuter cats that came into their shelter.
They spay and neuter cats that come into the shelter from people who handle cats. They don't accept somebody who collects feral cats, they don't bring them to the shelter. They don't bring them to the shelter, they don't accept them.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right. I'd like to address several other matters.
You have one more matter. Do we have other people that would like to speak to that also? Pick
All right,
the best out of the seven.
I certainly hope with all these crosswalks that you will use better quality materials. Right now, there is a crosswalk that was created at Cedar Grove Street
No, it's
and
terrible.
North Ocean Avenue
It's
that is half worn away.
That's it.
And it's,
We're putting the ones in like they have at the Four Corners, which is a much sturdier
better
one.
product.
It's a deeper one, much more expensive also.
all right, the one at Cedar Grove Street,
It's shot.
it's worn away. It's,
That's why I'm going back to that method of protection.
all right. I'm all for
Any
that.
other comment? Bojack.
Good evening, everybody. John Bogack, 8 Mountain Street. 4 things, and they'll be open quick. I hope so, anyway. I don't know if the gentleman who was complaining about the Emporium was here, but, you know, the zoning board, Lori knows, held 4 or 5 hearings before they renewed the special permit for the Emporium. Most of those issues that were identified by that individual was brought forth by other people, a number of people. And as a result of that, the zoning board took a very special approach, which is to grant them a 1-year special permit to control those issues.
With a certain number of conditions as
Correct.
part of that.
Right. So I would suggest, in addition to the meeting with the police, it's now been about a month since the zoning board reached this decision. It'd be interesting to see whether or not the Emporium is in compliance at this moment in time with what was granted by the zoning board.
We have those. We have the special conditions were, I assisted in the drafting of special conditions, so there were a bunch of issues that got raised to that, including their responsibility for security outside the premises to an hour after they closed. We based a lot of those conditions on conditions that were imposed on establishments in the city by New York City community boards, because the bars and clubs that are in neighborhoods, you know, almost like that little corner of Patchogue is almost like a little urban city, because you have a mix of your downtown residential, or downtown commercial, but you also have right up against it dense residential. So we look towards the city New York community boards as a model, and a lot of those conditions came out of that. But those conditions are only about 30 days old now, and the building department is going to start actively enforcing those and checking those, and the director of public safety is aware of what those requirements are too. Observe that there is the lack of security as required. Those are all going to become part of the record for that ultimate shortened renewal.
Okay, so you're not going to be, like in the instance that occurred here, the Emporium somehow went over its permit, so went for a long time actually, but anyone seems to be noticing it, whatever happened. But in this case, there's going to be more attention?
Oh yeah, no question.
Okay, okay, that's good. That was my suggestion. Does the board have the power to memorialize the town of Brookhaven about the plastic bag ban, and ask the town of Brookhaven, now that the village has taken this step, to join?
They're obviously watching what we do, and then it would have to be one of their council people would have to bring it to the floor as a suggestion, as Joe did. I don't know.
Well, you know, Mr. Dake's been here before. You know, his point is a valid one. We still have a lot of time to make this work, so hopefully it will. But we're an island where it's like, you know, it's a no-drink zone, but everywhere we're surrounded by bars. If the town of Brookhaven was part of this deal really works. You know, so I don't know how you go about doing that, Mr. Mayor, but...
Like I said, I know that, and Supervisor Romaine and I have had brief conversations about this, and they're very much aware of what we do down here. And I understand that there are certain council people that are looking at it very closely also.
Okay, all right, so I'm just going to recommend that in light of your vote today, I think that would make a congruence that would actually work. And 2 really quick questions. Parking meter revenue, we haven't heard a report in a long time, so...
Well, we're doing very well, and I will get the report.
All right.
This is the end of the year, so within the next week or so, we'll have a report.
And my last question, suggestions about the website, who does that actually go to?
You can send it to me. You have my website address.
Done.
My email address.
Any other comments? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
John, I'm sorry. John, do you have my personal email address? I'll give you that. Send it to that. Send the comments to that one. Look at that one.